welcome our viewers. We are always grateful, and it is always happy for us, to be here. And also we are also grateful for you for joining us each and every time. Whenever now we have this program, tunashukuru sana because you always here to give you now what has been happening. And remember that as this program need to beyond the headlines. So tunaangalia the analysis of what has been happening, during the weekend for you now to be able to have an understanding. So we are grateful so much to have one of our own. Thank you. That is Kim. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Yes.
Yes, good morning viewers. Asante sana kwa kuniita Mizpah TV. Wakati baridi imezidi, sijui kama kuna jiko for us at least to keep ourselves warm, but we do it with the kind of talk that is ahead of us.
Nafikiri kwa ile joto iko our studio pia iko na full of
joto. Yes. So this morning I'm very glad to be in studio this morning and thank God for the kind of weather that we are experiencing.
Yes.
Tumezoea vumbi, tumezoea kijoto, sasa ni baridi, tuvae makabuti. Lakini kwa watoto wadogo tuhakikisha tumewavalia nadhifu, tumewavalia warm. Wasipate hii kahoma mbaya mbaya.
Yes.
So very glad this morning. First of all to experience the kind of changes that are happening in this particular country. I received greetings from somebody called Patrick Budhia. Patrick Budhia, we used to be co-student leaders at Egerton University. He comes from Subukia. Nowadays he is teaching farmers or training farmers on the use of foliar sprays. He's selling some product called Biovitam. Biovitam is used for increased forage cover in vegetation. It's also applied at fruiting, the setting up of fruits, and even to increase the number of fruits and harden them prior to harvest. So it's applicable to avocados, coffee, and the likes. So he sent me the greetings to you and to all our viewers in Mizpah TV. He's following us from Subukia. I'm also very glad, Bwana Kemodo. Our governor is reiterating every day in, day out that in Nakuru we do not have a choice. We have to maintain peace, we have to keep peace, because that's the only cash crop that we have in Nakuru. Once we have peace, we are able to carry on with our businesses. We are able to check around our 24-hour economy. So let's maintain peace. Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us, and also thank you for coming. Thank you for giving us even our county, that is our news and information, because peace is what we need. Peace is what we need, because whenever we don't have peace, we'll not be able now to do our business, we'll not be able now to move our economy pia itarudi pale chini. And as we also maintain peace, let peace be cropped so well, especially now from even our elected leaders, because recently now as we now join what we are going to analyze, still speaking of peace, tuliona kulikuwa na demonstrations that were held, and unajua zilifanyia Sabasaba. The Sabasaba that we grew up knowing is not the Sabasaba that we saw happen. That is, we saw the use of guns. We saw people now taking advantage. We saw what happened, and so such kind of things. Yes.
And with the mention of demos, I saw a very different pattern that was there this time around. That is totally different from what we are used to. Remember, these demonstrations earlier on were attached to one Laira Amolo Odinga. But these are the second ones to happen without him. And different from the tradition of having demonstrations spreading to Kibera, to Langata, to Embakasi and the like. These ones were spreading towards the central area. We had demonstrations in Thika Road, we had demonstrations in Juja, we had demonstrations in Thika Town, we had demonstrations in Mount Kenya region, Muranga, Nyeri, Kirinyaga and the likes, which is not the norm. We are used to demonstrations within CBD, but now it's mainly on the 11 counties in Mount Kenya and a few urban centers, where again we find the number of Kikuyus well spread. So it has really affected that community, the Kikuyu community, especially now that we have had some different approaches. We've had people breaking into businesses. We've had some major supermarkets touched down. We've had heavy employers being taken away from their normal setups. Some chased away. We had Stage Mart supermarket here in Nakuru by a nation who actually dropped down in tears.
And also former Speaker's place.
Former Speaker's Joel Kairo's JJ supermarket. I don't know what crop of demonstrators we had this time around, but we are yet to see who are these so-called hired goons, who hired them, who sponsored them, or why are we experiencing some different kind of demonstration, different from the kind of peaceful demonstrations that the Gen Zs are known to carry on with. I think this kind of intrusion, this kind of infiltration needs to be investigated further, because it is also coming at a time when some regions within our country are experiencing cannibalism of children. We've had some children get lost, go missing, only to be found having been turned into a meal by a certain, I think we have some infiltration by foreigners, I so think, and that should be investigated. Isikue ya kwamba we are in the country when the president talks about terrorism. It could be very possible that we have terrorists amongst us who are taking advantage of the fragile situation we are in, and they take advantage and make sure that they maim, they kill, and they destroy property. And this, like the president said, should be decisively handled.
Speaking of terrorism, we saw some of the MPs being, accused of doing the same thing, trying to associate now politics and terrorism, and it has affected some of the MPs now from the opposition. It sounds outrageous, because it's just trying to pin some people, lack of information, just trying to pick somebody, trying out to fill them,
Well, I don't think it's healthy at this particular time to attach, or rather to attach these particular goons to a specific individual before thorough investigations have been carried out. Because I remember, was it some MP from Mount Kenya, is it? What is his name? He was arrested the other day, but upon being taken to court, the kind of questions that were being thrown to the prosecutor didn't augur very well, because it showed some in preparation. The investigating officer was ill prepared. They had not carried out their investigation thoroughly, because before you take a suspect to a police station, before you arraign them to court, you must have gathered your evidence so that you present a prosecutable case.
So actually, I think something needs to be done, because especially when they were trying now to commemorate the day of Sabasaba, it means there is a gap, because when people are not informed, they will do whatever they want, and the day, the effects of the day will not be felt, and also the information will not be passed correctly.
That is it.
So maybe we can say now that it's high time also the politicians, they try now to crop these the young generation, trying to educate them, to show them the reality of things, because unajua sa ile Sabasaba ambayo ilikuwa pale, ilikuwa nayo articulated with a certain agenda. Now the agenda ikakuwa well presented. Last year tuliona the agenda was drop the finance bill, and appear the issue of the CS and other things, and zikakuwa presented. But when you try now to analyze the agenda and the reason demonstrations zimekuwa pale, you can't find what they are saying or what they want to present.
And Bwana Kimotho, there is no agenda that can be called a Gen Z agenda. We can only have a nationalistic approach to the whole thing. Let us look at our issues, which are heavily economic at this particular time, and let us do it through the channels that are provided for by the Constitution. We have our parliament. We cannot throw away the politicians from having a discussion with them. Remember, whenever we have emerging issues within our constituencies, these are our elected representatives. So like Raila threw word to the Gen Zs, let us come together, have an intergenerational kind of conclave. By conclave, he meant like of dialogue. Let's come together, let's reason together. And it's important, because you realize that even the generations that behind us, sometimes it's very hard for me and you to understand them. How about those who are ahead of us, who are our parents, our forefathers? I think it's high time that we came together, the political class, the religious team, inclusive of this particular now team that we are calling the Gen Zs and the Gen Alphas. Let's sit together. Let's have their different view of this particular world. Remember, their views are totally different from ours, and we may assume that they are not right in their aggression. Yet there is something they really feel that can be done by this particular government, but because it is not known to them, and until it's made known to them, that it will be addressed. So I welcome the idea of Raila Amolo Odinga calling the youth, calling all classes to come together to a dialoguing table. Let's debate, let's argue, let's see where the problem is. It may be difficult, just like it was difficult for Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto, the president, to come together. Remember, each was chest dumping that no, we do not want a handshake, we will never get into a handshake. But today they're in the broad-based government, so signaling that it is very possible to dialogue, to know where we are hurting each other, and to rectify where we can, and maybe entrench it into a policy so that it doesn't happen in future.
Okay. So the president spoke after long silence, but he was away. He was in UK, where in UK they uphold the human rights, constitution rights and all those.
Exactly.
And so he came back. Just as mtu akienda kule nje, sasa anakuja, unajua ukienda US unatoa kidogo, unafanya nini.
Exactly.
So we are expecting him when he comes back, he's going now to articulate some of the issues.
Sure.
But in contrary to that, he gave another order: shoot to kill.
Well, with this shoot to kill, shoot to maim, shoot to demobilize, I think the constitution is very clear. The penal code is also very clear on circumstances that can bring a policeman to the situation of shooting his suspect or his aggressors. I think the best thing is to follow the constitution and to follow the penal code. Why do I say this? Because we have already seen instances where policemen and policewomen followed orders that were illegal, and they have found themselves in a tight corner. They are crying alone.
Like the young man.
Like now, is it Bwana Barasa?
Yes.
He's crying alone. Murkomen, his CS is nowhere to be found. Langate, the KPS is nowhere to be seen. Bwana Douglas Kaja is nowhere to be seen. The president is nowhere to be seen. So he's carrying his own cross. So I think for all of us, and because even the president saw to defend the constitution of Kenya, I think it's imperative upon all of us to follow the constitution and to follow the laid down regulations. Otherwise, that is what makes our country. Without all that, we would be in jungle rule. But today we are proud that we are Kenyans, and Kenya is not a failed state. Then nobody try to go around politicking that Kenya is a failed state. It is not. And the president is firmly in leadership. And why do I say that we are not a failed state? Despite what the young men are saying, we dispatched like 3,000 police officers and police officers, yes, and we had out of the crowds, we are told 30 of them died, 30 of the demonstrators died. So it doesn't mean that every policeman who went to the battlefield was shooting to kill, was shooting to maim. It means we only had a section that is containing these rogue police officers, and they will be dealt with. So let's not go politicking that Kenya is a failed state, like I've heard from some of the politicians in the opposition team. Kenya is not a failed state, and we had a responsible officers who took charge of the demonstrations and ensured that things went at least within the set regulations. However, we had those differences. As for the president and his remarks, I think he was angry, and I think it's high time that we prayed for the president. It's not very good for a leader to get that angry and issue orders out of anger, because maneno ya mfalme ni magumu, yana mashiko. Remember Uhuru Kenyatta wa Mudhamaki once said that yangu 10 na yako 10, na akasema baada yake Ruto atachukua. And I really respect the former president's community, because they honored their word. They made sure that whatever they promised His Excellency William Ruto, they gave him. Hata nilikuwa nasikiza watu wengine wakisema hawa marafiki zetu kutoka jamii ya Wakalenjin wasikasirike kwa sasa wakiona kuna wengine wetu ambao wamekasirika, kwa sababu the larger majority answered to the call and kept their promise that they would re-elect President William Ruto. And in the same note, we are urging him to not to get angry, and we are going to pray for the president, because that anger is not normal. He has also gone through a lot.
Yes.
And we pray that he gets calm, so that he is able to lead the remaining segment of his term.
Yes.
He has to go full term.
Yes.
Those people who are telling him that he will get dropped along the way, that's a misconception.
And speaking of that, we have a system that it is a democratic alignment on our constitution. Finally, we saw the IBC.
Yes.
Because we saw now the president telling people, those, especially those in the opposition, on responding to what has been going on, that they have to wait.
Yes.
For the order of the process. Finally, now the IBC now will be put in place. We saw what now the decision that came now from the High Court, says that now they have now to be regazetted, so now they can resume and they can start their issues. I think that is why now people now need now to come and compose their issues, all their grievances and everything. They need now to come and look for another way.
Yes.
And strategy. Because going out to the street will not now, because he was not brought by the street way.
No,
just
he was
by
not elected,
by the vote.
He was not elected through demonstration.
Yes.
He was legitimized. He's the legitimate elected president through the ballot.
Yes.
And no amount of demonstrations can illegitimize the presidency of President William Ruto. So let even those demonstrating know that they are only being, their emotions are being hyped by people who have bitterness, anger. They have some political grudges here and there. But this country cannot be led by anger and bitterness and revenge.
Yes.
No. And for our youth and even our political leadership, especially those in the opposition, stop radicalizing our youth to answer to things that they do not know, they do not belong, and giving them promises that the future will be so sudden. There will be a sudden change in the future. History has taught us differently. History has given us a way, the way things have evolved over time. And like now we are headed to an electioneering period. We already know how things will turn, how people will form coalitions ahead of the election time, and all that. But now we have the youth are being told, no, with these Gen Zs, you can easily take over the government. It's not taken over through the streets. No, it's one of the ingredients that psychs people, that mobilizes people, but this is the wrong time. And again, these people will not be mobilized as Gen Zs when it will come to electioneering period. Some will be sportsmen, some will be athletes, some will be sportsmen, some will be approached through music, some will be approached through their religious organizations, others will be approached through their headmen, others through their village elders, others through the provincial administration. I think we know the kind of arrangements that we always have when it comes to elections. This one that we are being promised that so suddenly you can assume power. No, it doesn't happen like that. So stop, our opposition leaders, stop exciting youth with things that are futile, with experiments that are sure to fail. Let us remain peaceful. Let us help the government of the day attain whatever it promised us, fulfill whatever it promised to us, because just like our governor has been saying, the election that is ahead of us 2 years from now will be majorly guided by the deliverables, the delivery by those who are already in leadership. We are not talking of a new species of leadership. They have been in power for 5 years. So each and everyone will stand and show us, amongst the things I promised, I've managed to do this, and give me a fresh term to start a new list. But if you have done nothing, actually you will have no reason to even get yourself in the ballot. So just quit mapema. So those ndio tunaweza sema must go. But as in the mid of 2025, we are telling people that they must go. Where? We need to have them work. We need to have them deliver. We need to help them deliver whatever they promise to Kenyans by offering them a conducive environment. Today, President William Ruto is trying to lure. He was in the UK, he was outside the country, trying to lure investors into our country. But can we have investors come when we are along the streets? Can we have investors come when orders again are being given, shoot to kill, shoot to demobilize? And with the Duale, the funniest version was Duales, that shoot the leg and make sure you don't kill, and make sure that the leg does not bleed. So, I think Dwele needs to come to the studios one of these fine days and demonstrate to us how you shoot a leg and doesn't bleed.
So actually those are some of the comments that you have been hearing from the political class, and you are really hoping that each and every person is going to be responsible, because you need every person to be responsible, starting with the the office of the president, going across to all the departments, all the elected leaders, to those who are misusing our youth in the use of goons. That now should stop. And actually we can also see some of the fallouts.
Yes.
I think there are some of the people ambao wanaona ni kama hii government mambo hayaendi vizuri. Recently tumekuwa tukiona economic advisor that is Moses Kuria. Kana sana unajua alikuwa na yumba kidogo.
It is his style.
I think now he's trying out to join the opposition, or what is happening.
I think for Moses Kuria, he has not been comfortable in this particular government, and I don't think this is the time he has resigned. He has always put on his Twitter handles that he's going to have a shouting breaking news. But we have not had the breaking news. Even itself. When he broke the news, it like there were no news at all. So for Moses Kuria, I think he hasn't been very comfortable in this particular government. I remember he has moved from 3 ministries. Started with Minister of Trade and Industry. He went to Labor. He ended up being fired like everyone after the Gen Z protests. And he never came back. He only came back as an advisor. And I think his advices possibly have led to whatever we are seeing today. And he has been shown the door. I don't think he resigned. I think he was shown the door, but with very good manners. I wish everybody would be fired like so. if indeed he was fired. We are yet to see the formations that will come from his region, Mount Kenya region. Remember, we are at a time when Rigathi Gachagua and his DCP are at his fever pitch. He went to the US, and thank you that he went, because the country is a little bit calm. We need that calmness. We need a break from all these one-term, all these DCPs, all these kind of shoutings here and there. The country need to be peaceful so that we can progress. I am not saying that the government does not require opposition. No government can survive. No government can serve an inch well without an objective opposition. But let us act responsibly. Whatever we do, let's act responsibly. So with Moses Kuria, let's see whether he will be in the ballot amongst those who will be vying from Mount Kenya region. I feel so, because he comes from Kiambu, which is a vote-rich region. And I have not heard of a presidential candidate from Mount Kenya coming from that particular region. I only heard of Moranga with the Didi Nyoro some times back. The news died. But I saw him recently now emerge, attacking the organized goons that we saw and that were seen destroying people's properties. Moses Kuria could be will be in the ballot, or rather go for the gubernatorial seat for Kiambu. But he's an ambitious man. Remember, he had his own party. He had his own political party. He had to see whether he will revive his political party, or he will join Jubilee, as it has been rumored, or he will join DCP, because he once said that Gachagua hatapigwa akiwa. So we are yet to see the kind of formations that are to come up. I also expect him to now have his own constituency. Now that he is outside government, I think I feel he will have to show his muscle and have his own constituent, so that when it comes to 2027, he will also have a bargaining power back to government, because people vie for positions so that they can get a cake, they can get a share of the government's cake. So I think Moses Kuria will not idle around, and he may be of great help if he joins the opposition, so that he can help check the government that is in power, knowing very well that he has been a part of the key running of this particular country. So he can be of major help in the opposition. So maybe he's just one among many who are still in government, because unajua according now to his character, he's very broad. Unajua huwa haogopi. That is, and he is a very sharp man. I think from Mount Kenya region, he is among the sharpest guys that we have when it comes to academic performance and even his prowess. And when it comes to even deliveries, he did very well in the Ministry of Trade.
Yeah.
He was also very active in the Labor Ministry.
Yes.
Moses Kuria is a go-getter. Give him a job to do, he will deliver. He has delivered. Moses Kuria did not just leave his office out of failure. No, I remember he came up with the industrial parks concept, which was piloted and then replicated almost across the entire country. I remember he had a very wild football tournament that was again rumored to be his political tool for 2027. I think even the president William Ruto, his boss, saw the ambitions in him and had to train him a little bit because he also needs some space. He's the president at this particular moment. He needs his space. Everybody does. Yeah, even if Kimani was to become president today, I will call for my space. So I will not entertain a lot of competition when it is unnecessary.
So he did a very good thing. He did. And you're really hoping that other leaders are going now to to come up and do the right thing. Stand up and be firm. So your last comment,
my last comment, Kemodho, at this particular time is to reiterate the words of our governor. That in Nakuru, the only gold that we mine here is peace. Let us observe peace. Let us act peacefully. Let's be our brothers' keepers. Let us not turn against each other because of politics. I've seen some people up in arms trying to defend President William Ruto, but they're not doing it in the right manner. Let us do it in a manner that will not hurt each other. Let's remain peaceful. Even those who are aggrieved, find a way of dialoguing with your friends wherever you are. Na wale watu wako nyumba kumi au provincial administration, kudos. I've seen the kind of job they are trying to do here and there to keep peace. There is also the Rift Valley Peace Committee. They're doing a credible job, and I wish that they continue doing that kind of godly job.
Thank you so much. It is always an honor for you coming and to share the analysis that has been happening.
The pleasure is all mine.
We are very grateful. So thank you so much. Have a blessed weekend. Thank you.